So yeah, you're realizing now that the way you're going to tap into your powers, the way you're going to see through the illusion and see through it more clearly is when you're not in a state of mental anguish, when you're not feeling anxiety, when you get to a place where you can feel grounded. Especially since it's summertime now, we have the possibility to get out in the sun, to put our feet in the grass. It's not cold, like, so it's like you're trying as much as you can to get to a place where you go by the water or you go by the grass and just relax, you know what I mean? Let the messages that the universe wants to send you come in. And then also, this was coming out a lot that I felt like before, was that the masculine in the beginning, when I was getting this message, was the masculine wasn't doing that. And I think I might have recorded another reading a little while ago that it was like, what are you doing right? And it was loosening up your grip. So it came up again that you are loosening up your grip. Coping mechanism, destiny, addictions, let God in. So before, you were probably having a hard time surrendering and letting go of addictions, things that weren't serving you, using them as coping mechanisms to deal with past hurt, pain, trauma that you've been through. And now you're starting to release those things. And now you're letting the creator in. You're realizing that you are one with source, that source is the one that created you, and that when you tune into source and your highest self, that's when you can let in abundance. That's when you can be guided with your intuition on who you're supposed to be with, what place you're supposed to go to, what connections, like you're attracting in those connections because you're letting the divine in. The first step was always to let the divine in. When I went through my pain and heartbreak and feeling overwhelmed and like everything fell apart, I lost everything in my life, everything that was meaningful. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, for me, sorry. So yeah, when I was going through the most challenging time of my life, the only thing that saved me was letting God in, you know, letting the creator in, leaning into the creator and being like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I made the right decision, but I trust in you and I trust that you're leading me down the right path. So please, I just kept surrendering and kept praying, but I had my doubts and I kept questioning. Every time something bad happened, I'd be like, what? Like, why is this happening to me? Haven't I gone through enough? But by me loosening up my grip and surrendering, that's when abundance and mindset shifts and everything started to change, right? And from where I was a year ago to where I am now, it's like a completely transformed person. Of course, there's still things I'm working on, but it's like way different than what I was experiencing. So yeah, you're letting go and letting the creator in, and you're living, and that's what's getting you to live as a fully conscious being, because you're realizing things. And by you loosening the grip, the creator's giving you more messages, allowing you to tap into your psychic abilities and see what it is that you're meant to do. And I kind of want to just look up what the whale is, because I didn't think I looked it up. Hold on. So the whale often symbolizes emotional depth, compassion, and the wisdom gained through life experiences. It can also represent a connection to the feminine forces of nature, the ability to navigate difficult waters, and the importance of clear communication. So that's probably something that you struggled with in the past with communication, and probably had miscommunication with people because you weren't clear with your communication. And this is something that you've worked through, and what you changed your perspective on, and living fully conscious, you're conscious of your communication now, and you have this emotional depth, this compassion, and this wisdom that you've gained through all the challenges that you've been through. So it's like, no matter what your age is, you have this wisdom from past lifetimes and what you've gone through in this lifetime, which has given you the wisdom that you're meant to share with the world. You're meant to open up as a masculine to share wisdom that you've gained through this lifetime. And you're also tapping into your feminine side, right? Like that's, yeah, so you're also tapping into your divine feminine side, and that's what's leading with the compassion and the nurturing and the understanding. And before, you could have just operating from a place that was masculine, and now you're tapping into your divine feminine and not seeing it as a weakness. So it's like your gentleness was never a weakness. Like, you don't need to be this macho, bravado, masculine. That's not who you are. You are in touch with your feminine side. You are in touch with the emotions of a feminine. But like, your armor puts you up where you're like, where you feel like you need to protect yourself, and then you wouldn't have compassion and understanding towards feminines or situations that you've been in. So you've changed that outlook, and you're in touch with, the whale is in touch with water and the movements of emotions and how they change. And you're becoming more connected with your feminine side, and then you realize the importance of clear communication, because by not communicating clearly, that's when other people's messages get misconstrued, and that's when people don't know what's really going on. So you realize that I need to be clear in my communication if I'm going to approach any conversation with anyone, right? So yeah, maybe I have, actually it's a 4%. Maybe I'll pull 2 fairy cards. Let's see what we got. So my phone's at 4%, so I'm going to rush through this, but I asked like the last question, like what does the divine masculine still need to work on? And hope was the first one to come out. And it says, hope is always there. Even if we can't see it, optimistic expectations can help change a negative situation into a positive situation. So you're probably still struggling with hope, having hope, because like when you're surrendering to the divine, your hope is wavering from back and forth because you're still going through obstacles, you're still going through challenges. So you're trying to like have hope that your mindset's going to get better, that you're going to release addiction, that your life is going to feel peaceful. And you're getting to that point, but you still waver in your hope on whether things are going to work out or not. Like you have days where you feel optimistic, and then you have days where you feel negative. So the universe just wants you to keep having hope, because hope is what moves things forward. Hope is what gets you to change. Hope is the thing that keeps your faith. So keep having hope in your situations. And then magical gateway. It takes courage and trust to venture into the unknown. Yet this is where the greatest rewards are. It's time to step boldly forward without looking back. So if you're still indecisive about the decision, but yet the universe is sending you signs on, like, it says nature signs, right? But I'll read that after. But if the universe is sending you signs on what you need to do and you're still like hesitant on what you need to do, take the signs and go forward with it. Because like when your intuition is guiding you and you're still saying you're not ready, that's just fear telling you you're not ready. That's not actually that you're not ready. You need to take bold actions to move forward. Like me recording these messages every day, I could say, oh, I'm not ready, or I'm not feeling up for it, but I know the consistency is what makes things come to fruition. What make my dreams come true is if I'm consistent with it, and if I act even from a place of fear, because I know my intuition is leading me to do it. So there's situations in your life that you're still operating from a place of fear, and you need to move boldly and make those decisions, or 5-10 years is going to pass by and you still are operating from a place of fear. So have hope that things will work out, but move forward, and then be hopeful that everything will work out as you move forward. And then the last one, let me just pause it before I lose this. So the last card was nature sign, and this says, be receptive to the subtle messages from nature. As you go about your day, nature talks to us continually. We need only open our hearts and minds. So like I said, like be hopeful, act boldly, but you're only going to know that it's not fair when you pay attention to nature's sign, when you pay attention to the universal messages, when you trust what the universe is telling you, like what I was saying before, right? Like you need to trust what the universe says, even subtle messages, the littlest thing, hearing a song, seeing a word, like you were thinking a thought and then you see an angel